everybody, I'm Rebecca Keppel. I am super excited to be here with two new cards today. They were both made with the Queen & Co. Sunny Days Shaker Kit, and it is so easy to create the cutest cards with this kit. So let me show you what's included. First of all, you have all of these elements. You have a stamp set here that's got tons of sentiments on it. You've got foam shapes, 3 palm trees, 3 flip-flops, and 3 popsicles, and you have the dies to match so that you coordinate the top. You also have the flip-flop straps, and then you have die-cut pieces of acetate to top your shakers with. So I'm going to start by cutting out the popsicle out of Kraft. Now I don't want the popsicle to be Kraft, but I do want the stick to be Kraft. So we're going to do a little bit of paper piecing there. Next, I'm going to use the Delightful Dots matte stack from Queen & Co. Lots of bright dots, and I'm going to cut out 3 colors of pattern paper with that popsicle die. Now I'm going to create my sentiment strip. So I'm treating some black cardstock with anti-static powder tool. I'm using LDRS Creative Watermark ink, and I'm going to stamp my sentiment. Next, I'm going to pour some white embossing powder on top. Just make sure that the entire sentiment is really nice and covered. And sometimes when you tap it off to get those excesses off, you tap off a little bit of the sentiment as well. And I really want to make sure that that sentiment is fully covered so that when I heat set it, it'll be a nice bright white sentiment on that black cardstock. Okay, now it's time to start getting ready to put the shakers together. You can see that I'm lining my 4 1/4 by 5.5 inch card panel up on my mat there so that I can find the center of the card and lay one shaker down, one foam piece down right in the center of that panel. This just makes it easier for me. Instead of having to pull out my ruler, I'm using that midline there to line up my popsicle foam pieces here. So I'm just peeling off the backing and then laying them down on the card panel, and now they are ready to pour in my shakers. I am using Queen & Co.'s Jewel Toppings for these shakers, and you can see that they're really bright colors and they also have fun shapes. First, I decided I wanted the center of the popsicle to be the same color as the outer edge. So I have that center that I die cut, and I'm just going to adhere them with a little bit of tape runner right inside that foam shape there. And this way my popsicles will actually be the color that I want them to be. You can, of course, just have the white cardstock behind and just have the colored shakers inside. But for this card, I really wanted that vibrant look. So for the middle shaker there, I am using the bubbles instead. So I have the jewels on the left and the right, and then the orange bubbles in the center. And once that's done, I can pull out my die cut acetate pieces. These are already cut for you to match the foam. So just pull off the protective layer on top and then lay that acetate piece right on top of that. And it's a nice adhesive. It's going to keep it in place for you. And so your shaker will be pretty much done other than customizing. And that's how easy it is to make shakers with Queen & Co. kits, which is why I love them so much. Next, we're going to take those top pieces from the die cut, those little frame pieces, and just adhere them with some Memory Runner XL, which is just my favorite tape runner. And you can see that it's really easy just to go around all those edges there and then lay them down. And then don't forget that we also have those little popsicle sticks that we can cut out and use on top of the colors. I could just leave them just like this, and the colors are really fun, but I wanted a slightly realistic look with that Kraft popsicle stick. So I'm just going to trim off the bottom, just the stick portion of the die cut, and then adhere it down with some tape runner. And I think those look absolutely adorable. They look like real popsicle sticks. Kraft cardstock, everybody has in their stash. So it's super easy to just cut out your popsicles in both Kraft and a fun color and create some really fun popsicles for your card. Now we have that sentiment, "You are the coolest," on the black cardstock strip. I'm just going to cut it off there, and I'm going to lay it right over the middle of the center popsicle. So I'm just going to, again, use some tape runner. I thought about popping up the sentiment, but I think there's so much dimension on this card with those popsicles that you don't need to. I trimmed down my card panel with the shakers just a little bit so that I could lay the whole thing over some really pretty cardstock from Gina K Designs. I'll have that linked down below as well. And now I am just adhering my shaker card panel on top of that. And I think this is a really fun summer card that anybody would love to get in the mail or to receive with a gift, and just simple, clean, but lots of fun. Okay, for the second card, I'm going to work with the flip-flops. So you'll see that the die is one direction, meaning that the stitching of the die means that it's a right-hand flip-flop. But you can cut it out again and flip it over and use it as the left flip-flop. And I wanted both flip-flops on this card, so I'm cutting everything out twice. And just remember that you're flipping it over to make the left hand one. So don't use a pattern paper that has a different design on the back. Otherwise, your flip-flops will be two different designs, which is fun too. I'm sure my 13-year-old actually loves wearing two different flip-flops, so it might be perfect for her. Okay, I'm going to do the same exact thing with the black cardstock strip. I'm just going to use some white embossing powder and some watermark ink to create a little sentiment that says, "I flip for you." Again, these sentiments are so cute and so much fun. I love how they combine the script fonts with the print font. Now I'm going to pop out the centers of those flip-flop foam shapes. So like I said, one is going to be the normal way that you always have it. The other one you're just going to flip over to make the left-hand foot flip-flop. I'm going to adhere those down to my card panels, and I'm going to remember to put in the cardstock pieces that I am using for the frame of the flip-flop as well. Next, I'm going to pour in some of those jewels. I'm going to use some pink and purple. This is a really fun, bright, summery color combination that works really well with those pattern papers from the Queen & Co. Delightful Dots. Again, the acetate pieces are die cut. You just have to flip one over to make the left hand flip-flop, and use one the normal way to make the right hand flip-flop. And again, like I said, the little dies for the frames there, one side is going to have a really embossed stitched element. The other is going to be the underside of that. To me, it doesn't matter. I can't really tell until I look very closely at it, and I think it's just really cute to have both feet on this card. So now I'm going to adhere the little straps for the flip-flop, and you can see I was kind of struggling with exactly where I wanted them. I think they should be right there, right at the edge of the frame there. And then for this sentiment, I decided I did want to pop it up. So I'm just going to use a little piece of foam tape behind it just to add a little bit of dimension, because most of this card is flat, but other than those shakers on there. And I think that the black sentiment popped up here is actually really fun. I thought it needed one more thing, and that was just, first, it needs to be adhered to a card base, of course. So that is going down on a 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 inch top folding note card. But I also wanted to include a little bit of embellishment. It just seemed a little plain around the pattern paper there, and it's so much fun, those shakers, that I wanted to really kind of bump up the shine and dimension. So I just used a few metallic bubbles, which are one of my new favorite embellishments from Queen & Co. And those are self-adhesive. And then I'm going to add a little bit of Tonic Studios Nouveau Crystal Glaze just to the straps. That will add a little bit of dimension to those straps, but also make them shiny. And I know that a lot of flip-flops are that kind of plastic material, so that the straps would be a little bit shiny. And that completes the second card. And really, this took no time at all to make these two really fun summer shaker cards. They're super clean and simple, but they're bright and summery. So I hope that you will look down below and check out all the supplies I used, including this kit. And if you're interested in subscribing to my YouTube channel, you can do that here. You can check out my blog for more information, and I'll have a couple of other shaker videos for you to look at here if you're interested. I want to thank you so much for stopping by today. Have a wonderful day.